Good evening, good evening, good evening. I apologize, I'm a little bit late today. Ooh, by 24 minutes. I do apologize. Please accept my apology. I am Sheraton. This is my channel, Show in the Ends, Show in My Ends. And tonight I am going to be looking at what is the future of the UK in 2023. Now, 2022 was quite a year. Oh, hello, Brett. Thank you so much for joining me. I have to give you a call. I'm going to call you soon. Very, very, very soon. But yes, 2022, my goodness, what a year for the UK. I mean, if somebody wrote a film script, you couldn't make it up. And frankly, I think Angela Eagle, MP Angela Eagle, said it best. We had 5 education ministers, 4 chancellors, 3 prime ministers, 2 leadership elections, and the partridge had to sell the pear tree to pay his electricity bills. That was basically 2022 in a nutshell. Pure madness. It was a madness. It was, I mean, we saw the pound sink so low that it was practically the same as the dollar. That's never happened in my lifetime. Okay, I'm a little older than I appear, but even so, that's never happened in my lifetime. I mean, normally, when you're looking at the dollar versus the pound, you're looking at $1.50, $1.40. To £1. It ended up dropping to something like $1.06 or $1.04 to the pound. That was crazy. We had a prime minister who was outlasted by a lettuce. That was crazy. I mean, really nuts. And the whole world was looking at us like, just eating their popcorn, just looking at us like, can you believe this shit? Is this really happening? Pinch me. That's what the world was doing because it was totally nuts. Now, oops, my candle. Speaking as a Brit, all these exciting times, I don't like them. I mean, okay, all right, hands up. I have to admit, and please, for my American audience, don't hate me. Don't hate me. But I spent since 2016, like the last few years, watching the dumpster fire that was Donald Trump in America, okay? I mean, I stayed up at night until 2 a.m. to watch Rachel Maddow. I was watching MSNBC. I'm in the UK. I did that shit. I could see all your different representatives of Congress and your senators. I was watching everything, okay? And I have to admit, in part, some of it was a little bit of a distraction from the nightmare that I saw beginning to take place over here. It was a bit of a distraction. That is true. I ain't gonna lie. And when I heard that Donald Trump had won, I did have a total meltdown, a public meltdown in my local farm foods. I had a public meltdown. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had videotaped it. Okay? I had a meltdown. However, because I have family in the States. I do. And not just in one part. My family is scattered all up and down America. So I have family. I have family in New York. I have family in Philadelphia. I have family in Florida. I have family in Ohio. I mean, there's probably other places I have family that I don't even know about. Oh yeah, I got family in Washington. I got family, okay? I got family there. So, not that I'm particularly close with many of them, but my dad's close, so But the point I'm making is that it mattered to me. I felt invested because I have so many family members there, and I have actually been to the States before. So while all the horror of what was happening in the UK was just beginning to kick off, I was watching what was happening in America. And yes, there were popcorn moments. I was sitting there with my popcorn like, oh my gosh, did he actually just say that? What the hell is happening? That kind of thing. So when it turned out to be the UK's time, it was like, this is awful. I can't watch this. It's too much. Let me just watch the clown show, the nutcase, the Orange Emperor in America, because I can't take this. My heart constantly feels like it's about to jump out of my chest. Okay, so I couldn't handle what was happening in Britain. I was watching what was happening in America. Okay, so then shit got even worse over here. Yeah, Brett, it was so weird how America, UK, yeah, we all just far right. Everybody went far right. It was absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. That all the Anglophone countries just went totally nuts at the same time. But you know what? I think a lot of that has to do with karma. That's what I think. I think a lot of this has to do with karma. When you look at all these things that have happened through a spiritual lens, a lot of it is karmic. But let me not get too much into that. So, anyway, so it started getting worse and worse. And I realized that part of the reason why America was a wonderful distraction for me, no offense to anyone, but it was a wonderful distraction. I realized that part of the reason why it was a distraction for me is because I could see that what was going to happen over here was not going to be something that could be easily fixed. I could see that what was going to happen in the UK, the amount of damage that was going to be caused to the entire country and our way of life, was going to be something that would stay with us for generations. As bad as Donald Trump was, he has not damaged America for generations. If anything, when he came in and he said he was going to drain the swamp, that's exactly what he's been doing. Because he's brought all the shit, nastiness, and shady deals. It's brought all of that corruption to the surface for America to now look on and say, we don't want this to ever happen to us again. So, in a way, when you look at things through a spiritual view, Donald Trump may actually be a great catalyst for positive change in America. He may actually be that person. If you look through it from a materialistic and a worldly view, no. But through a spiritual view, the changes that are going to come about, that have started, are going to be really good for your average American. Whereas in Britain, and I've been trying to tell my American friends for the longest time, they think that what's happening to them is awful, and it was awful. But they did not understand. I don't think they really understood the danger that the UK is now in, that's going to last with us for generations. So, in that vein, considering everything that's happened, considering everything that's now happening, in the UK, we have inflation. I think, is it 11 or 12% now? I can't keep up. The interest rate has skyrocketed. I think it's something like 5%, or maybe 6, or I don't even know how much the interest rate is. To be honest, I don't know. I actually don't know. I just know it's either 5% or more. And that's quite huge considering it was like 0.5%. Then we've got the cost of living crisis, which is huge. We have the energy crisis for our energy bills that have shot up astronomically. Instead of me now paying between 45 to 50 pounds a month for my electric, now I believe it's gone up to, is it 130 pounds a month now? Something like that for my electricity. So much so, I only turn on the oven to cook food once a week, and I wash my clothes after 12 a.m. Oh, good evening, Marie. Good evening. So lovely to see you. I hope you had a lovely New Year and Christmas. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. So, the point I'm making is that we have a major cost of living crisis. We have a government now who want to play the strong man by refusing to negotiate with public service workers. The NHS is not on its knees, it's on its face. This is not a good time to get sick. This is not a good time to need to call an ambulance. You could literally, and people have in this country, died waiting for an ambulance. Then when you get to the hospital, you might be sitting outside in a car or an ambulance for 12 hours. There was one case of a man who was outside a hospital, waiting outside casualty for about 26 hours. People are having to wait so long for treatment that it's ended up in catastrophic injury that they otherwise would not have had. Like, for example, people have had a stroke. With a stroke, you need to get to them within about an hour, 2 hours max, I think, to deliver this specific drug to make sure that they don't have a massive um, hemorrhage. There's no burst blood vessels. But people are missing out on that 2 hour window and now finding themselves severely paralyzed because they couldn't get the treatment they needed in time, even though they were in the hospital. So we have NHS workers, nurses, doctors, ambulance drivers, porters, the works on strike. The government are trying to play the strongman. We have communication workers who are now on strike. The government are trying to play the strongman. These are people who are engineers, call center staff that work for communication companies, as well as postal workers. So the unions are out on strike. The teachers, the lecturers are out on strike. You have the UK Border Force that is now out on strike. You have civil service, people working for the central government who are now on strike. You have firemen who are now on strike. Everybody in the public sector. This is madness. People are out on strike en masse. Now, are they all out on strike together? Oh, sorry, forgot the rail workers. They're on strike too. Are they all together? No. But it's getting to the point now where they're starting to coordinate. The government have recently said that they're willing to enter pay talks with these unions. But they're trying a thing that's just terrible. It's just a waste of time. They need to understand that Britain is broken. Britain is broken, and it's their fault because they've been in power for the last 13 years. 13 years of conservative government. 13 years. They inherited an economy, okay, we had just had a financial crash, but that was worldwide. That was the whole world. But the satisfaction with public services was extremely high. They came into government, instituted austerity, and basically put a freeze on wages of public service workers that lasted for 10 years. More than 10 years now, it's 13 years. So that means in real terms, most people have lost out on about £8,000. We're £8,000 per working person poorer than we would have been because they issued a pay freeze. That's a lot of money. I digress. So I'm looking at this year. What does 2023 have in store for us? Because 2022 has been absolutely bonkers in the worst possible way. What's in store for us as the UK? What is in store for us? Now, tonight I am looking at, I will be using these following decks. I will be using my archetype that will tell me by Caroline Myss, that will give me the energies of the different quarters of 2023. I will be using my Game of Thrones tarot, and that will I'll probably be doing a Celtic cross and other things with that. And I will also use Sacred Destiny Oracle to give me a little direction, I think, in the different quarters. And the last one I will use will be my Oracle of the Seven Energies, because I think that it might get a bit tasty, might need to calm down, might need to go back to a more spiritual way of looking at things, because I find that incredibly calming. So, on that note, let's get to it. Okay. Right, should have probably shuffled these cards first, or at least shuffled them while I was talking. But, well, you know me, I love a chat. Okay, let's see. UK 2023. What are the overarching themes for each quarter? Spirit, I will pull 4 cards. Please tell me what the overarching themes for each quarter will be. Let's have a look see. What will the overarching themes for each quarter be? Okay, I'm gonna pick. Oh, hello. Yes, you. I'm picking you for January. For the first quarter. For the second quarter, I'm going to pick you for quarter number 2. For the third quarter, and this will be from what? July to September. Yes, from July to September. Going for you. And then, nope. Yeah, this one. And that's for the final quarter. Righty ho. Right, so those are my energies for the thing. And here we go. Things to bear in mind. Right, so those are the energies. What'll be the standouts? The standouts that we'll all hear about in those quarters. What'll be the standouts? The standouts of each quarter. Okay, let's have a look see. Okay, I'm going for this one. Then I'm going for that one. I'm going for, there you are, you cheeky little thing. You, and I'm going for you. Right then. Okay. And then finally. Right. Now, what I'm going to do, I figure it would be a very good idea. Oh, I seem to have a jumper there. Don't know if it's relevant. Yep, it's definitely relevant. All right. What I'm going to do is I have my Rebel deck, my Rebel Oracle. So if I need clarification on something, I'm going to use it. Also, unlike other times, I'm going to be reading reversals. I don't normally read reversals, but Spirit is telling me that reversals, I need to actually pay attention to the reversals. So if they come up in this deck, which I don't expect to see many of them, I am going to be reading them as reversals. So let's have a look see, shall we? All right, UK 2022. Spirit, show me, what do I need? What information do you need to impart for UK in 2022? What information? This part seems interesting. Okay, I think that might be it. I think that's it. Okay. Yep. Right, how many cards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you hiding your little so-so. 10. Right. Right. So let's have a look and see the different quarters. What do we see? Now, by rights, what I probably ought to be doing is, I think the calendar one, where you do one card for every month. I'm not 100% sure on that, although it might actually turn out to be that way. So who knows? Oh, okay. For the first quarter, I have here companion. So this will be from January through till March. Companion. The light attributes are loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. The shadow attributes are betrayal by misusing confidences and loss of personal identity. Interesting. So the first quarter will be about companionship. Okay, the second quarter. This will be from April to June. The second quarter will be the mentor. Light attribute is passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. The shadow attribute is inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instructions. That is curious. Oh, and I appear to have 2 reversals. The third quarter, from July to September, is Prince. This came as a reversal. I don't normally read reversals, but I have decided this time I'm going to read the reversals. So, the light attribute of Prince is romantic charm and potential for power. The shadow attribute here is using power for self-aggrandizement. Using power for self-aggrandizement. Self-aggrandizement is another way of saying that somebody is vainglorious. And you're probably looking at the screen like, hold on, I barely understood what self-aggrandizement means. Now she wants to use the word vainglorious? What the hell? Right, vainglorious is exactly what it means. It means that your own personal vanity, yeah, you glory in your own vanity. Look at me. I'm so amazing. Look at me using my power to make me look marvelous. That's what that means. And I'm going to see it as such. This is a card where we're going to look at the shadow attributes for that card. And for September, no, not September. No, that was from July to September. Yes, from October to December. From the months of October to December, the final quarter of 2023, this card also came in upside down, and I'm going to read it as such. This card is Engineer. The shadow attributes of Engineer: reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Reliance on mechanistic solutions. Well, clearly that means it's reliance on short-term solutions that pay no heed to the fact that human beings are human beings, that, we need to eat, sleep, have a personal life, go to the loo, that kind of thing. Basically, the reliance on the idea of the perfect Amazon warehouse worker. You are there to do a job. You have 30 seconds to comply, to pick these goods. So you go out and you pick the goods, and it doesn't matter if you've been on your feet constantly for 4 hours. It doesn't matter if you're holding your bladder and you really need to go to the toilet. It doesn't matter if you need a drink. It doesn't matter if you fall down and have a heart attack. You are a machine. You are there to fulfill a purpose. You do it. That's what that means. A reliance on mechanistic solutions with no regard, no thought for the emotional consequences of seeing your colleague, your work colleague, fall down in front of you with a heart attack. And that's going to be the energy of the final quarter of 2022. Now, I also wanted to pull some other cards that would give me an idea of what's the understanding, the direction. If these cards told me the energies of those quarters, these cards tell me the direction of those energies. For the first quarter, we have here freedom. Looks a bit like, I don't know. I have no idea what this bird is. It's a bird. Freedom. I was going to say a robin, but it doesn't have a red breast. And I'm not a twitcher, so I have no idea what bird this is. But it's like the birds are flying in the sky, and this bird is at the front, almost like they're leading forward into the arch. So they're coming from the outside to come in regards to companionship. Now for the second quarter, which would be April to June, I have here solitude. This is giving me vibes of a mentor and a mentee, because the energy of the second quarter is that of a mentor. I'm seeing here someone stepping back, they're retreating, and they seem to be learning how to fish in the dark. I don't know, maybe this is some Mr. Miyagi's type thing. I don't know, wax on, wax off. He's trying to fish in the dark, Actually, fishing in the dark is not the worst thing because, the fish can't really see you when you're above them with a net waiting to catch them. So if you can fish in the dark, that's a good thing. Teaching us to fish in the dark. Okay. Third quarter. This is from July to September. The key thing here is pleasure. And it's upside down prints. These two are together. Using power for self-aggrandizement. Using power to make yourself look good. Pleasure. A garden of delights. Vainglorious in a garden of delights. Now the last one for the final quarter of 2023 is potential. Kind of looks a bit like a volcano exploding. And it's also under reversed card engineer. Well, it's in its shadow attribute. So the energy is a reliance on mechanistic solutions without the regard for emotional consequences. The potential. I would say that due to the vainglorious pursuit of making oneself look good and the getting power, pleasure out of the misuse of power, I would say that this leads to, I'm looking at this, it says potential. To me, this looks kind of like a volcanic eruption and about to erupt. Which tells me, thank you very much for that, Brett. I really appreciate you bringing that up because we've discussed this. I've discussed okay, I don't know how many of you are aware, and I really ought to have put it in today's note, especially considering the subject matter. But last year, October, I did predict that Rishi Sunak would be Prime Minister. And in my personal conversations with Mr. Valdez, we discussed and we shuffled and, threw some cards at the possibilities. One of the issues was his finances, how wealthy he is. And I remember in my mind's eye getting kind of flashes which Brett brought up about him taking pictures living the life of a billionaire on a fancy yacht. Yeah. Rishi's yacht. And said that there would be pictures coming out of on Rishi, and people would get really, really angry because there'd be so many people suffering in this country. And yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that happening anyway. But that card, Vain Glorious, in a garden of pleasures. Thank you for reminding me of that, Brett, because it's exactly what I think it is. And consider the time frame. This is the third quarter. So this would be between July and September. Children's summer holidays, common parliamentary recess. This would be during a parliamentary recess. It fits perfectly. And that leads to the explosion at the end of the year. The explosion at the end of the year, from September to December. Right, so I've spoken enough about that. Let's get on. This card was a jumper, Justice. This was the first card to come out. I'm not sure if I'm even doing this right. Maybe I ought to be doing this month by month. I know what to do. I'm going to put these down in threes. Oh, yes, 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 yes. These need to come in threes. Yep, okay. Alrighty then. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read that as a reversal. Yep. And that one. Right. Okay. What do I have here? Okay. So from January to March, first month, Justice. Justice. I'm seeing the strikers here. I'm seeing the strikers here. It's under companion. In my mind, what I'm seeing here, when I pulled the companion card, I had a feeling that it might be linked to the strikers. I believe it is linked to the strikers. The companion card, what that's telling me is that for the first 3 months, you are going to have the unions come together in unison. There will be a general strike. The government are going to try to play the strong man. It will blow up in their faces. There will be a general strike. This is about justice. This is about the fact that public sector workers have essentially had a pay freeze for the last 13 years. This is about people's freedom. Yes, you have a job, but the conditions are so bad and the pay is so poor that you're having to go to a food bank to get assistance. You need charities to give you free food because you can't afford to live on the wages you're earning, even though you're working full time. That's what this card is. This is the bird leading the charge of the bird. So it's companion. And it's companion for the unions getting together and saying we're not going to take it anymore. They're calling for justice. They're calling for justice. They're calling for justice. It's the scales. So this is about balance and reciprocity. I give you my time and my work and you give me my wages so I can live. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune turns, and watch how there's a bird sitting very prettily on this wheel. Very prettily. There's another bird. The bird is under the lion. Yes, there will be a change. There will be a change. Hold on, justice. Okay. Justice. There will be a change. The change will be positive. The Nine of Coins. The independent lady. The lady who has the money she needs in order to live a wonderfully glorious life. Now, the Nine of Coins can also be about the home, an opulent home, having everything that you need at your fingertips. If this is indeed about the strikers, I expect in the first 3 months of this year, we will see a resolution for the public sector workers. We will not only see a resolution, we will see the wheel turn in their favour, and they will get a decent pay settlement. Now, some of them, like the nurses, are asking for 19%. The nurses do not expect to get 19%. They only say that as a starting point for negotiation. Likelihood is, I reckon, that we will see a pay settlement of 10% here. That's for the nurses. For the other public sector workers, I would say for the other public sector workers, I think it will be 9. Don't ask me why I'm saying this. I have no idea. But I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to say the lowest offer I believe will be on the table that will be accepted will be 7. I don't think that it's going to work with less than 7%. People will not take that. Not all these unions. For the NHS workers, I think it will probably be around 10%. Yeah. Okay, so I've really put myself out there. Now, for quarter 2. Quarter 2 is about the mentor. The mentor. That's quarter 2, the mentor. And that's about passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. So it does point to education. However, we also have here solitude. Teaching someone to fish in the dark. What does this mean? Okay, Page of Coins. This is a little bit of money. A little bit of money. Where is that little bit of money going? This is money news. If I'm not mistaken, and I could be mistaken, I believe the pages are often about news and communications. Now, sometimes they can also be about younger people. Before Rishi became Prime Minister, he was my page of coins. So is this about information, news, or a person? The next card I have here is Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups. That is the end of a cycle, which is also very interesting as it's sitting right next to the Wheel of Fortune. Although the Wheel of Fortune, as I said, that's for the first quarter. But the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is about the family. It's about emotional support. Ten of Coins is about legacy, family legacy and family money. But Ten of Cups is about love and the family. This is interesting because the Eight of Swords comes next. And the Eight of Swords is about restriction, oppression, feeling imprisoned. So, what I'd say is there's a little bit of money, something to do with the family, something to do with restriction. I'd say quite likely, from what I can see here, families are going to be feeling a bit restricted, a little bit of money thrown their way. I think this is something to do with the cost of living payments. So there'll be a cost of living payment, but what does that have to do with learning and growing in understanding? Is this people adjusting to the new normal? Education. Good news about money and finances. Educational opportunities. Okay. I would say quarter number 2, this will be from April to June, will be about education. It will be all about education. All about education. This will be about improving the mind. This will be about stepping back. And yes, there will be a cost of limit payment within that time between April and July. I'm predicting there will be a cost of living payment then. I think that there will be anyway, but this is what the cards are showing me. There's also an element here of the family. So this is about learning, and this is also about the family and emotional support. So we have a cost of living payment here. And at first, everything looks quite nice. Okay. Okay. In regards to education, I think there'll be new money coming in. I also think it indicates quite strongly that there will be a good and favourable outcome for the lecturers and the teachers who have been out on strike. The lecturers are currently out on strike. Teachers are being balloted about strike action. I think in the second quarter of this year, they will achieve they will achieve their aims in the second quarter of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if the government will give them a wage increase. The government will give them a wage increase, but that will happen in the second quarter of this year. Their dispute will not be settled as quickly as the others, especially not the NHS staff. Their dispute will be settled in the second quarter of the year. However, when the dispute is settled, unlike in some of the other instances, their conditions for settlement won't be as good. The conditions of the settlement for the teachers, for the lecturers, that's the university lecturers, and the teachers, the school teachers, will not be as good as it will be for the healthcare workers. The posties, they will have their settlement in the first 3 months. The teacher's settlement won't be as good, and the conditions attached will be quite awful. They will definitely feel very hemmed in. Third quarter. Now, this is where things get a bit tasty. Oh, Lord. This is ugly. This is ugly. This is not good. I kept on going on about it. The prince, the shadow prince. The vain, glorious shadow prince. Vainglorious in a garden of delights. First card I have here. 3 of Pentacles. Second card, Page of Spears. Third card, Queen of Coins, reversed. Why do I say this looks ugly? It looks ugly because we've got the Shadow Prince. It looks ugly because we have the reversed Queen of Coins. So it starts off ugly, it ends ugly. I would say, now normally, you know, the 3 of Coins, that can be people coming together, people with knowledge, and they're all working together for a united pursuit. But this can also be dark money. I've got it now. I've got it now. I've got it now. Ooh, fishy Rishi. Fishy Rishi. You've been a very naughty boy. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, fishy Rishi. Ooh, oh my days. We about to find out some shit. We's about to find out some shit on Rishi. And it's not pretty. Ooh! Where's my fan? I need my fan. Oh my goodness. Where is my fan? Oh Lord. Excuse me. I'm sorry, people. I just Okay. Between July and September, we're going to find out some things about our Prime Minister. Some deals that he's done with some peoples. It's going to get sorry. My apologies. Sorry. Let me just brace myself. I need to brace myself. Okay. Wow. We're going to find out some information in regards to his money. Dark money, deals that have been done. Dark money and deals that have been done. In fact, the whole of the quarter between July and September is going to be all around about money. And it's going to be all about information coming out about money. And deals that were done in the dark. Yeah. This Queen of Coins. The Queen of Coins can be about stability. It can be about prudence and being practical and pragmatic and methodical and getting the job done. Reversed is reversed. Oh, yeah. Greed. Self-aggrandizement. As I said before, vainglorious. Fiscal recklessness. Poor money management. Overindulgent. Okay. This is something involving a woman, a Queen of Coins. I would wager that this is a woman who has spent money, not necessarily that she hasn't had, but spent money in an irresponsible fashion, quite possibly not his wife, because his wife is a billionaire, quite possibly a member of the government. Now, normally, you look at the page and you could say that this is good news and it's all very nice, and I don't think this is good news. I don't see this as good news, even though it's not reversed. I don't see this as good news. Although one could say it's good news for some and not so great news for others. In short, we're going to be hearing about his money. We're not going to like it. And we're going to be hearing about a woman who is greedy. Or maybe it's not even so much the woman. Maybe it's a situation. We're going to be hearing about greed, financial mismanagement. Could be about Michelle Moan. Could be about Michelle Moan. Lady Moan, well, she was a lady. I think she's been had the whip withdrawn from her. She was in the House of Lords. She was involved in the PPE scandal. The PPE scandal where her family pocketed about 60 something million pounds. She herself got about 29 million in in PPE, much of which was actually unusable. She's being investigated by the police currently. I don't know if I've actually done a reading on her. Maybe I should. I think we're going to be hearing about Michelle Moan. I think we're going to be hearing about PPE scandals. And I think we're going to be hearing about dodgy deals that were done between July and September. Dodgy deals that Rishi's done and dodgy deals involving more PPE. This is a situation that I don't think is going to go away in a hurry. It could indicate deals that Rishi has done with some healthcare companies across the pond. This could be about more privatization of the NHS. Could be. I could be wrong. But yeah, July to September is going to be something not very nice. And finally, oh my gosh, I'm at 107. Rishi's wife's name. I can Google that. I think it begins with A. What's Rishi Sunak's wife's name? Let's have a look, see. Rishi Sunak. Okay. Rishi Sunak. Oh yes. His wife's name is Akshata Murthy. Akshata Murthy. That's his wife's name. Oops. All right. Oh, she's born April. Doesn't say what day she's born. Yeah. Just says she's born in April. So she could be an Aries, or she could be a Taurus. I don't know. Yes, Brett. She is a hero. She is a heiress, but she is worth over £1 billion in her own right. So, and her father is a multi billionaire of a huge international company. I think they do something to do with computers, information technology, and all that. So, well, I don't think this is her. It could be her, but I don't think so. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah, so September's going to get really tasty, and it's going to be a time of turmoil between July and September next year. I mean, this year. When I say next year, this year. All right, now let's get down to the fourth quarter. So this will be from October, November, December. So between October to December, we have here Shadow Engineer, because it came out reversed. And that is reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So it's, in the words of Britney, you better work, bitch. Doesn't matter what you think. However, the issue here is potential. I look at this card, I see a potential volcano erupting. In fact, it's already begun to erupt. Can't see the lava yet, but there is a potential here for great destruction. Now, the first card I have here is the Three of Cups. Now, you know, the Three of Cups can be a very cheerful card. It can be a card about joy and celebration and coming together, and all, isn't that lovely? Could be, could be lovely. Second card I have here is the Knight of Cups. This is the card of support and romance, and oh, you're so amazing, and here, let me help you. Let's do this to help and ease, and oh, isn't it lovely? Could also be the false knight, the one who comes with all the promises and tells you how wonderful you are. Meanwhile, he's trying to steal everything you got, even down to your drawers. He's trying to nick your drawers, not because he wants to get into them. I don't know, maybe you've got some diamonds sewn into your drawers or something, but he wants those. Last card I have here is Six of Swords. Six of Swords, often moving on to calmer waters. And what does that mean? What does that mean? We have a celebration. We have a knight with a cup in his hands. I'm thinking he's kind of a drunkard and a bit reckless, frankly. And then we've got moving on to calmer waters. Somebody's going to be making an exit stage left. Somebody's going to be making an exit. But what has that got to do with people treating each other like machines and there being an explosion or the potential for an explosion? I would say but there's something here about potential. Mm. Okay, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to read it as a reversal. I think it ties in directly with what happens before in the third quarter. I think this is about overindulgence and the potential for recklessness. There's a potential for an explosion that happens at the end of the year. And it's because people are being treated like machines and not as human beings. There's a reckless abandon, an overindulgent. There's someone coming forward with an action, but they're just drunk. I do not mean this actually, but metaphorically speaking, they're drunk. Everybody has overdone it. Everybody has had a little bit too much. Everybody has been too joyful, too much, overindulgent. And this night is coming forward with an action. As I said, there could be the false night, and he's coming forward with all this emotion, but it's artificial. Not necessarily because he wants to rip somebody off, but it's artificial because he's drunk on his own power. Is he drunk on his own power, or he's drunk on his own homebrew? But there is the potential. There is something here that is not working. It's not working well. People are too happy for fuck all. They're too happy, and they've been irresponsible. They've been irresponsible. There's an irresponsibility here. And somebody is going to pay the price. I would say this Knight of Cups is going to end up being the one to move on to calmer waters. I'm wondering if this Knight of Cups is Boris, because I know Boris is people want to get rid of him. But, this is at the end of the year. How slow are the investigations into him going to be? Is this Boris? Who is this person who's been at the source? He's been drinking his own brew. Who is this guy? Spirit, please give me an indication. Who is this guy? Or girl? Who is this guy? Whoever this guy is, the cards are just telling me you need to move the fuck on. Let that shit go. It's somebody that people have been really upset with for a long time because ancient shit is cool. And the final card, move the fuck on. If it's somebody that people have been upset with for a really long time, then I would say that this night, this drunken night, this irresponsible drunken night is Boris Johnson. And I would go so far as to say he's going to be ousted. He's going to be ousted as an MP. I would say, because there are a number of investigations that he's having to sit through, and the government have been very, very quiet about it, and they've been going at snail's pace. But I would say that between September and December of this year, Boris Johnson may well be kicked out of the House of Commons. He's not going to get to keep his seat. He will not get to keep his seat. That's what I would say. You know what? I could be right. I could be wrong. Maybe this time next year he'll still be there. Who knows? But, and it's not just that. It's not just that. There's also another thing here about potential. The potential for disaster. The potential for disaster. What kind of disaster are we looking at? What kind of disaster? Right, Spirit, please show me. Please show me. Where is this potential for disaster coming from? Where is the potential for disaster coming from? And the final quarter of 2023. It seems to be a work-related situation, treating people like machines. But what is about to explode? What is about to explode in the final quarter of 2023? What is about to explode? I'm going to take that card there. I'm going to take that card there. No, this one, I think. What's about to explode? This is something to do with money. This is something to do with contracts. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way. I don't know. Whatever, man. You know what? Fuck it. And it's supposed to do with a man, a moneyed man. Money, contracts, more money. I would say, you know what? I'm going to look at that and I'm going to say that money is not being given, because the Ace of Pentacles is normally money being, new money coming in. This ain't new money. I would go so far as to say that this is loss, bad investment, insecurity. Okay. Overindulgence. Yeah. All right. I think that It could be something to do with the trade deals that we've signed with other countries like Australia and New Zealand. It could be something to do with the contracts. I think it's going to become quite clear that there's been a huge miscalculation in regards to agriculture, the farmers. Farmers, I think, and the meat industry. I think that the government are spending so much time vacillating and fanning around that they still haven't worked out that we need to make some changes or do some things to support our farmers. I think it's got something to do with the meat industry. This is a Pentacles card. There's 2 Pentacles cards here. So to me, that means body. The potential here, there will be some celebrations because I think there will be some money coming in as a cost of living payment in the final quarter of the year. But there is a major issue here with overindulgence. And there's a major issue here with contracts. And there's a major issue here with money. Major issue here with money. Financial mismanagement because of a contract. I think that this has to do with the meat industry. I think that there is a potential here that will come about in 2024 in regards to the meat industry and the contracts. And if we think this year we will have this problems that we have with food inflation now will continue into next year. Ugh. How awful. But what can I say? What can I say? It's the UK and we've had an awful year this year. I mean, last year. This year, excuse me, sorry. This year won't be as bad. Because, I mean, last year was pretty amazingly awful. So this year, I think the first 6 months of the year, things, not so bad. The last 6 months of the year, chickens are coming home to roost. And they're chickens that have been on their way home for a number of years. I think we will see, in a nutshell, first quarter, we will see some resolutions with some of the strikers, especially the NHS strikers. They will get some resolutions. They will be able to make a deal with the government. The government will make a deal with them. Second quarter, it's going to be more about education. I think that there are going to be resolutions with the teaching unions and the government in regards to education, but the conditions will be stifling for the teachers and the lecturers. They will be very difficult because they'll ask them for efficiencies and all that crap. Like they're not efficient now. So that will be the second quarter. The third quarter is going to be major scandals in regards to Rishi and money and deals, doing deals with people. Might be in regards to healthcare. There will be some nice news for some, but not so nice for others. And it will all be about greed and money and living the life of a billionaire. Rishi's yacht. Oh crumbs. Let me take that off. Yeah. And the final quarter is going to be sow the seeds for disaster, for problems in 2024, for people thinking of other people as machines and not as human beings, people overindulging, coming forward inebriated, like they can solve all the problems, but the only thing they end up doing is falling face down in their own vomit. And somebody being told in no uncertain terms, you've got to go. On top of that, I see the potential for disaster. It's going to be around food. It's going to be around food security and agriculture. I think it's going to be in relation to meat. I think there's going to be issues in relation to meat and in relations to trade deals. So, peoples, I understand that I went on a bit long tonight. My apologies for being so long, but there you go. UK, Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. And may 2023 be better than 2022. I'm looking at the cards. I think it will be. Although, boy, we've got some things that are about to take place in the second half of 2023. It's going to be, you know what, to my American watchers, second half 2023, get out your popcorn. It's going to be a show. Ah, dear. So there we go. All right, I'm done. Well, thank you for sticking with me. You should have known this was going to be a long one. I mean, this is me we're talking about. So I would like to say to everyone who's watching, whether you're watching now or on the replay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I've been showing the ends, and this is my forecast for UK in 2023. And if you would like a reading with me, you can email me at Gmail, show in the ends, just the name of my channel, at gmail.com. I do readings, 45 minutes. In those readings, I will use a number of cards. And if it's a love reading, I will use my pendulum. And my readings now are I'll do a list, but yes, my readings now, I will do them for 45 minutes. And the cost is £50. And I will give you a very comprehensive reading for 45 minutes. As you can tell, I'm thorough and I like to go in deep. Now, before we go, let's do the outcome card. Spirit, what would you like for us to know? What would you like for us to know? How can we get through 2023? What are the important messages that we need to know and understand in 2023? Is there anything else you would like for us to know in relation to the outcome of 2023, UK in 2023? Almost forgot to do this. I'm going for this one. sacred reverence. It's not in sacred reverence. Is it sacred reverence? No. I think it was supposed to be this one, in perfect harmony. I accidentally picked up 2 cards. Right, imperfect harmony. And it's an 11 card. The key concepts here are togetherness, healthy and harmonious partnerships, commitment to a relationship, collaboration with others, and interdependence. You are entering a time of healthy, harmonious partnerships. Collaboration is key here, as you are invited to explore the potential inherent in making a commitment to another person, group, or even yourself. What did I say? Companionship and leading the pack in freedom. Know that you are bringing different gifts to the table. You don't have to be in exact lockstep with everyone else. Being your authentic self actually helps you, brings you into alignment with others. You are a note in a harmony that neither overpowers nor is overpowered by any other. Your beautiful interdependence allows you to shine. Just keep an eye out for a sign that your subconscious, which has been conditioned by your previous hurts and experiences, is working in a way not in accord with what your healthy self intends. For example, you may desire a relationship but be expected to be betrayed. So you unconsciously sabotage it. You say you want to lose weight but continue to eat compulsively and avoid exercise. Is this supposed to be for the nation or just for me? In these moments, you are not attuned to yourself, and this disharmony spills out into all other parts of your life. This is happening. If this is happening, you might want to take a hard look at yourself, do self-inventory, forgive yourself, and then start singing a new song of self-love and acceptance. What's really great about this is how quickly you are able to turn this around. Have no fear, it is easy to get back in tune. All it takes is self-honesty and a willingness to heal. You can do it. This is really such a fortunate time. So there's hope for the future. All we have to do is make an effort to self-heal and bring ourselves back into an alignment with what we really say we want. So to everybody, I will say good night, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Ta-ta. See you Friday, where I'm doing a reading on Harry, the book. Was it a step too far? Blah, blah, blah. Good night.